A certain man fell ill, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and Martha. Mary was the one who anointed the Lord with perfume and wiped his feet with her hair. Her brother Lazarus was sick. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, saying to him, "Lord, our brother Lazarus, who you love, has fallen ill." When Jesus heard it, he said, This illness does not lead to death. Rather, it is for God's glory, so that the Son of God might be glorified through it. So, even though Jesus loved Mary and Martha and Lazarus, and after having heard that Lazarus had fallen ill, Jesus remained where he was for 2 more days. And then after this, Jesus said to his disciples, "We must go back to Judea." His disciples said, "Rabbi, the Judean authorities were just now trying to stone you, and you want to go back?" Jesus replied, "Well, are there not 12 hours of sunlight? Those who walk during the day do not stumble because they see the light of this world, but those who walk at night stumble because the light is not in them." And then he said to them, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I will go to him and wake him up." The disciples said, "Rabbi, if Lazarus has fallen asleep, well, he'll be all right." But Jesus was speaking about his death. The disciples thought he was simply talking about sleep. So Jesus told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead. But for your sake, I'm glad I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go to him." Thomas, also called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, "Well, let us also go, so that we may die with him." When Jesus arrived, he found Lazarus dead in the tomb 4 days. Now, Bethany is near Jerusalem, some 2 miles away, and many of the Judeans had come to console Mary and Martha about their brother. But when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she got up and went out to meet him, while Mary stayed at home. Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now, I know that God will do for you whatever you ask of him." Jesus said to her, "Martha, your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "Well, yes, Lord, I know that my brother will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and I am life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live. And anyone who believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? Martha said, Yes, Lord. I think you are Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world. After she said these things, she went back to her sister Mary and told her privately, Mary, the teacher is here, and he is calling for you. When Mary heard it, she got up and she ran out. Now Jesus had not yet come into the village, but was still at the place where Martha had gone to meet him. The Judeans who were with Mary consoling her, when they saw her get up and run out, they followed her because they thought she was going to the tomb to weep there. When Mary came to the place where Jesus was, she fell at his feet. And she said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Judeans who were with her also weeping, he was greatly disturbed in spirit, and he was deeply moved. He said to them, Where have you laid him? And they said, Lord, come and see. And Jesus began to weep. And so they said, Oh, look, see how he loved him. But others said, Well, could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying? Jesus, again, greatly disturbed, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and there was a stone lying up against it. He said to them, Take away the stone. Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, Oh, Lord, no, Lord. Our brother has already been dead in the tomb for 4 days. There is going to be an awful, awful stench. Jesus said to her, Martha, do you not remember me saying to you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? So they rolled away the stone. And then Jesus looked up and he began to pray, saying, Father, I thank you. I thank you for having heard me, because I know you always hear me, but I have said these things for the sake of the crowd standing here, so that they may believe that you have sent me. And then, in a loud voice, Jesus cried out, "Lazarus! Lazarus, come out!" And the dead man came out. His hands and his feet were bound in strips of cloth, and his head was covered in a cloth. And then Jesus said to them, "Unbind him. Unbind him and let him go." And then all the people, therefore, who came with Mary that day, saw what Jesus did, and they believed.